All right, y'all, this week is Black Maternal Health Week, and today we are joined by the founder of For Kira for Moms, an organization fighting to end preventable maternal deaths and to make sure that no family has to go through the loss that he experienced. Y'all, please welcome Charles Johnson IV.
Good morning, man.
Thank you for coming, man.
Listen, it is truly an honor to be here this morning. So appreciative.
And thank you again for making us part of your family.
No, listen, I was telling you, this is so special because I'm going to talk about my journey, but you, this entire show, have brought us so much joy. Man, I'm saying that my kids can tell you everything about, is Black Tony ever going to go to work?
Yep.
Right? You know what I'm saying? They know all the characters, and so it's amazing to be here with my extended family that I've never met.
There it is. And thank you so much for joining us again. And good Black maternal health is so important and really needed for our community. And I know that you lost your wife back in 2016. And my condolences to you and your family during a C-section while she was giving birth. Can you briefly share the story with us?
Absolutely. So we talk about my wife Kira, man. You know, I was lucky enough to meet a woman that absolutely changed my life. I'm talking about a woman with sunshine personified. And, you know, I always wanted to be a dad. So we welcomed my first son, Charles V, in 2016. And I'm sorry, 2014. We just started talking about how cool it would be to have back-to-back boys. So we found out we were pregnant with Langston, on top of the world. So on April 12th of 2016, we went into Cedars-Sinai Hospital for what we expected to be the happiest day of our lives and walked right into a nightmare. She was allowed to bleed internally for more than 10 hours while myself and my family begged for them to do something. And what I didn't understand at the time is I really thought she was an anomaly. But what I learned is that right here in the United States, we are the most dangerous country in the industrialized world for mothers to give birth. And then we take a look deeper, which is why we're here right now, is African American mothers are dying at rates 3 to 4 times as often as white mothers. And so I didn't know what I could do.
Why is that?
It's a great question. And the thing is we have to speak truth to power. In certain instances, the greatest risk factor that these women are facing is not race, but racism. And the role of implicit bias and the inability of care providers to see them the same way they would their sister, their wives.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Let me, and I'm so sorry for your loss. My maternal grandmother died also of childbirth, but we're talking 80 years ago and we're still dealing with it. I just want to ask you, do you feel every woman on this show, well, the women on the show have all had children. I feel like they feel like we can deal with pain more. So when I went in to have a C-section, I was like, listen, I don't want to feel pain. I want you to take care of me like you would take care of your sister, your aunt, your whoever. And I just feel like we don't have a voice. Do you think there's some truth to that?
Absolutely. And what we have to understand is you make such an important point. But the reality of the situation is this is multi-intergenerational. This is something that's been systematically happened over the course of hundreds of years, going back to Anarcha, Lucy, and Betsy, who were the original mothers of gynecology. And the dark underbelly is that Dr. Marion Sims performed these operations on enslaved black women. Cut to hundreds of years later, there are medical textbooks that are still literally telling us that black people have higher pain tolerance. And so there's a lot of work that has to be undone.
So, Charles, do you think that there's racism within the healthcare industry?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, because the numbers you gave was women die. What's the ratio again?
Yeah, great question. So we talk about African American mothers, 3 to 4 times likely to pass away from childbirth and childbirth-related causes than Caucasian mothers. But one of the statistics I want people to understand is that the CDC has also determined that 84% of the deaths in the United States are considered preventable. And so that's the opportunity to make an impact.
Right.
So how do we fix it? Do we need to start going to black doctors? How do we fix this problem?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think that there are both clinical and non-clinical approaches to address this, right? So everything from legislative actions. We've been fortunate enough just 2 weeks ago where we reintroduced a package of bills called the Maternal Health Momnibus, right? 14 pieces of legislation so people can reach out, call their congresswoman, their their senator and ask them to support it, right? I do think we need to have conversations about all of the available options, right? Not just understanding. We need to understand all the options available to us with the difference between midwifery, doula care, and clinicalized birth are, and be able to have the resources and tools we need to make educated decisions on behalf of our
Man,
families.
when I tell you this is so concerning, I like it's so much stuff going on. I didn't even know that all this was going on. So if a woman has concerns about her health, but is feeling kind of unheard by her doctor, what are some of the best ways for her, to advocate for herself?
Great question. So what I think the most important thing is to, and I know that Brad is here and she's a relatively new mother, that when we talk about a woman and a mother advocating for herself, it's unreasonable to expect a mother to advocate for herself and give birth at the same time. So building that community, right? Care partners, whether it's the father of the child, the extended community, making sure that that's there. Being able to reach out and have conversations with people in your community about the resources that are there and the things, and not only just being aware of the providers that may be falling short, but we need to share the good news about the ones that are getting it right.
So Charles, for everybody listening right now, especially men, so what's one thing they can do to support Black maternal health, not just this week, but moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for bringing up the role of men. One of the things that's a critical part of our theory of change, Gary, is that if we want to improve maternal health outcomes quickly, one of the things that we can do is make sure that men, fathers, and non-birthing partners are informed and empowered with the tools they need to support and advocate, right? So we've developed a program called For Cure for Dads. It's a free app available to anybody, and it'll help men understand all of the various challenges across their pregnancy journey.
When did you realize something was wrong, and what was the resolve of your case?
Yeah, so I actually first realized something was wrong about 2 hours after Kira gave birth, and I was actually sitting by the bedside, and I actually noticed blood in her catheter. What we determined through the California Medical Board's investigation and multiple whistleblowers at Cedars-Sinai coming forward, understanding that this was the epitome of what is a preventable death.
Yeah.
And so what we've worked for is not just transparency and accountability for what happened to Kira, but transparency and accountability for hospitals across the country. And so one of the things that I'm proudest of is that Kira's story became the catalyst for a federal civil rights investigation into this hospital. Not just about their accountability for my wife, but every single mother of color that had come through those doors. And for us, that was monumental because it's so much more. This fight is about so much more than myself.
Wow. When is the anniversary?
Yeah,
or your wife's birthday?
Yeah,
we would like to have you come on, or we do something in regards to have a conversation about protecting women's health during giving birth. We would like to make sure that we don't forget about you in your case, and not and kind of encourage women to protect themselves and to ask certain questions and to bring awareness to your situation.
Absolutely, and so we're grateful for that. And what I want people to understand is that even though we hear these stories about my wife and some of the challenges, and it's troubling concerns, what I want to do is we want to make sure that people understand that they can and should and deserve a beautiful, dignified birthing experience. And we want to make sure that they just have the tools and the resources that they need to make those decisions, the best decisions possible for their family.
Man, listen, man, thank you. Let everybody know where they can get more information on how they could get involved with you and your awesome organization For Cure for Moms.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, and happy Black Maternal Health Week to everybody out there, anybody that's celebrating. But you can keep up with us on all social media at the number 4 KIRA, the number 4 MOMS. So For Cure for Moms, and we're so grateful once again for you allowing us to share.
Yeah, thank you for coming, man. And again, we offer our condolences to you. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for Charles Johnson.
Yeah.
More Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up.